Good morning, everybody. So my video today just went out, or it's starting to go out. No, yeah, it just went out because it just hit noon, and I had scheduled for a noon release, so it just went out. And I'm recording today's video, and I log in. And as I had suspected, the kelp continued to cook when I had logged out. After I had logged out, after I had closed my single player survival, my survival single player world, the world continued to operate, which is a bug that Minecraft developers had claimed they had fixed, and clearly they have not fixed it, because I just experienced the bug just now. So clearly the bug is not fixed. That being said, I went ahead and I harvested another batch of kelp, and I harvested, well, no, that was it. I just harvested the kelp. I recall we were terraforming this hill last episode, and I plan to continue that theme. I plan to continue taking out this entire hill because I plan to build up an iron farm, hopefully. Because I did find villagers, so I am of course going to want to gather those villagers, create a good solid town hall, nice central location for all of the villagers that I have encountered, and I'm going to want to have all of those villagers available to trade when I have materials for them to buy off of me. I want to have easy access, so I'm putting them near my farm. It's not the best place for an iron farm because they could link to my composters or even the barrels, because the barrels will turn a villager into a fishing villager, which is also not very useful to me. So here I am trying to clear out. I did it again. I was trying to walk, and I clicked on the dirt on accident, and it, instead of walking, decided, hey, let's just turn this soil into a path block and use up the durability of the shovel pointlessly. I'm going to sneak so that I stop my auto jump from activating. And so this wouldn't be the best place for an iron farm. However, this would make a great place for a trading hall, a town center, if you will. So if I want to, I can make this entire mountaintop. I can take it and I can flatten it, and I can turn this entire place into a rather lovely mountaintop village. I might elevate it a little so I get snow, because I do like the snowy look. It's also funny watching Endermen get damaged by snow, because it's just this slow-moving object that theoretically should not damage anything, unless, of course, you have, like, frostbite or something, which point then you probably need a doctor and you probably shouldn't be out in the snow, but that's off topic, and that's health related, not Minecraft related. But like, I like how the Endermen get damaged by it just snowing, because that means that I can sit here and enjoy a snowy biome without needing to worry about, will I get, Endermen taking out my village. They'll probably still take out parts of my village. I probably won't use grass blocks or dirt blocks for my decoration. I might go with diorite, or I might go with polished basalt. Polished basalt does look like it would make a really nice village block. And I'm hoping half of this lag is not due to monsters spawning and trying to kill me as they fly around. Because I'm fairly sure my character spent quite a few nights just standing there and not actually sleeping in a bed, which means, of course, if they weren't sleeping in a bed, then they're going to end up with situations where they... let's see. Anything in there? Nope, nothing in there. Hello, chicken. I still haven't named you. I still don't even have a name tag. So, yeah. Oh my god, are you kidding me? They walked right in front of me. Ugh. Great. Well, that's unfortunate. They had a good run. Suppose I need to add that to my hopper here, so that when it gets space available, it can cook the chicken. Let's get one more so I don't have a empty inventory spot. I don't want to actually take the kelp out of my inventory. I just want to have as much of it as possible. And of course, I don't have to use the recipe. I can just do it, select, and then just drag, and it will fill in all of the spots where I drag it to. I just have to make sure that I draw the correct pattern, obviously. Okay, so as I was saying, I plan to turn this into what is essentially a villager trading hall. However, it will of course have probably it will have some form of defenses. I might make a nearby villager farm just so that I can have like iron golems. Might make a nearby iron farm because I will need iron. That is a given. I will need iron. There's no real way to debate that. I need hoppers because I plan to transport thousands upon thousands of items. So I will need some form of item transportation, and finally got my second ender pearl. I'm happy about that. And I will need to basically clear out this entire area. So I'm going to clear out this whole area, and if my video recording software crashes, then I'll just pick up recording again after I am done clearing the area, because I am tired of needing to clear this area for who knows how many episodes. I haven't counted. I think I'm up to episode 15, so probably the last 13 episodes, I would assume. I've needed to clear out the rest of this hill, and I just haven't done it because it's a massive project, and it's going to take me multiple hours to do, and I'm going to go through so much cobblestone, and I'll probably have to go chopping down the rest of that forest, or at least a percentage of that forest, in order to make this happen, because this is going to use up so many twigs. The stick count is going to definitely have a lot more extra crafted very soon because of the rate at which I'm going to go through all of these shovels. Stone shovels, they're durable, don't get me wrong, but this is an entire mountaintop I'm talking about here. A stone shovel against an entire mountaintop is not the best matchup, we'll call it. So if you're going to be clearing a mountaintop, it's recommended to have better than stone shovels or iron shovels. You really want to have a good supply of diamonds so that you can use diamond shovels, because otherwise you're going to be spending so much time making more shovels. Mending, of course, will also help if you have access to mending technology of some form, mending enchantments. Whether it be you just get lucky with an enchanting table, or maybe you have your villager trading hall set up, or maybe you just found a good villager while you were out roaming the wasteland out there, trying to not die as you outran everything. Which is also a very good tactic, and it's valid. Not the best tactic, but it's valid. It's a valid tactic. I don't want to badmouth the nomad lifestyle of Minecraft play, because the nomad lifestyle does have benefits, and I actually even... Oh, I did it again, you see? I was just turning and it clicked. So the nomad version of playing Minecraft, the nomad style, if you were, does have its strengths when compared, for example, against base building, because if you have certain mods enabled, the difficulty which you're playing at can quickly exponentially grow if you're playing an idle style of the game. You have to build a floating base for starters, because a ground-based base will not work in certain styles of play. Specifically, there is a corruption type mod where it basically eats the world. I don't remember what it's called offhand, but I do remember that it exists, and I do remember it was very, very effective, and it definitely caught me off guard. It surprised me. However, I was capable of surviving for quite a while. It was actually in my video of the test world that I never actually finished building. I never finished that test world, I will be honest. I didn't want to end the project, but by the time I got back to the project, I had no idea how I had done any of that. I had to fix something in the world generation files, and I did not remember how I did what I did in the world generation files, so I was incapable of correcting what needed to be fixed. Therefore, I had no method available with which to continue the project, because I needed to relearn how to do what I did, which is as effective as inviting a new person who has no idea what I did and has no idea what I'm trying to do to try and figure out what to do. Not a very effective tactic. Let's see, I need to open my crafting table. I can still hear that dispenser going off in the background. It's very subtle. I lowered the volume so much. I do need a sword. So I need to grab that, dispense it there, and then grab that, dispense it there. I can put that over there. Actually, I can put that there. I will need so many more shovels. So I'm just going to build a lot of shovels. I did not seem to need that many pickaxes, so I will not build extra pickaxes at this moment. I still have 2 spares, and that will work for me. Or at least I'll make it work. All the rest, however... pull out the food so I don't accidentally use my tool durability. Yeah, so that's that. I would have loved to continue that project, and I had uploaded some of it to GitHub. However, I have no idea how to do what I did. I do remember that one of the mods provided the capability to modify the world generation. I think it was thermal dynamics. However, I'm not positive on that, and I really could not find any of the files that I was looking for when I was trying to locate how I changed the ground to soul sand and endstone. I wanted to get rid of the soul sand. The soul sand was too much. You had to run to escape zombies. And because of that, you were just starving to death almost instantly. It was truly a hellscape. I'm proud that I had created such a hellscape, but I, on the other hand, also was not very... I wasn't finding it very enjoyable, so I wanted to tear it all down and make a different version, basically. Yes, it was very difficult. However, I think turning all of the trees into lava and endstone was probably a little too much. Maybe if I had just turned like oak trees into endstone and lava, maybe if I'd turned the different blocks into different types of obstacles and given it some actual variety instead of using what's known as ore dictionary entries. The ore dictionary entries turned all of the leaves and all of the logs into endstone and soul sand, or no, endstone and lava. Soul sand was dirt. Endstone, actually no, endstone was stone. Was it trees too? I can't remember. I would honestly have to watch the old video again. But yeah, that was for Java Edition. I was using someone else's account, and they have long since changed their password, so I don't actually have access to that anymore. I'm not very concerned about it because I didn't really get anywhere with the project, and it just kind of sputtered out. So it's really no biggie. I did, of course, end up buying Pocket Edition, so now I have this copy legit. There's a fly buzzing around that's going to annoy the ever-loving shit out of me. There's a fly in my room. So I did manage to learn quite a lot about game mechanics of Minecraft when I was building that mod pack, though, and it allowed me to have a deeper understanding of the more technical aspects, closer to how Ilmengo has a very good understanding of the Java mechanics. I've translated my understanding into the Bedrock Edition mechanics and how the different versions operate on different methods through different behaviors for each one, and the reasoning behind them. That being said, I am by no means skilled in programming for Bedrock Edition. I have not studied it, and I do not really plan to, because Bedrock Edition is still what is known as a hot mess. Bedrock Edition has so many flaws, and some of them are flaws that they claim they fixed, but they didn't. And a lot of that has to do with what programming language they're using, and they refuse to really mention that. But that's the problem at its source, is they just have a very difficult to use programming language that has very bad documentation on average. And because of that, they end up with very little that they are capable of actually doing when certain problems arise, and they have to create a workaround. They don't just apply a patch. They don't just implement a few lines of code. No, they have to actually build the actual design fix that is needed in order to not have a broken game. And because of that, it gets very chaotic at Mojang Studios sometimes. I would not be surprised if they have had one or more arguments over what way they were going to be fixing something. You know, were they going to be using this patch? Were they going to be using that command? What were they going to be doing for this? What were they going to be doing for that? And they go through all of these different iterations of what to do, and they talk about it amongst each other because they have to. Most programmers I'm aware of have a tendency to just kind of do their own thing for a while, and they don't really talk to each other very much. I'm not sure if that's normal amongst programmers, but that's the ones I know. And I can respect that, because programming can be very convoluted, confusing, and sometimes just toxic. Sometimes you're left sitting there going, what am I going to do? You know, how am I going to fix this? Because you really have no idea what command you need in order to achieve your desired result half the time. And like, you might have learned it, but let's be honest. When's the last time you memorized an entire instruction manual, cover to cover? Okay? Yeah, there are people who have done it, and those people are extremely rich. I have not memorized cover to cover a single programming language, because doing so is an incredible waste of time when you have proper documentation that allows you to simply search for the result that you are looking for. So what I look for is properly documented source code so that I can properly learn what I'm trying to learn. So, for example, the auto Auto-it3 scripting language. I like that one because when you install it on your laptop or computer or whatever you manage to install it on, I believe it's for Windows primarily. However, using using the compiler that it includes, you're capable of adapting your script to work on any device, not just a Windows device, because the reason that it is a Windows scripting language is because it relies on a specific DLL file, which is a dynamic link library. That dynamic link library allows it to recognize what it is doing, which is the entire purpose of a dynamic link library. It's a compiled source hub of all of the different reference points in a programming language. It's similar to an API. I forget what API actually stands for. However, the result is the same. The behavior is the same. It's just not acting on a network scale. It's acting on a local scale. If the DLL file does not exist, it'll say, hey, this doesn't work right. And as a result, most people encounter, for example, installation errors. Or they'll try and launch a game and they'll say, hey, this file doesn't exist on your computer. You can't play this game. Why not? What does this file do? Well, there's the problem with DLL files, is DLL files are just a library of information. If you don't have access to the book that tells you what that library does, all you're left with is just some random error message talking about some file that you have no idea what it does. And to be honest, there's really no way for you to find out. You can look online and take your chances and hope you can find something about that file, but the chances are you won't find anything about that file. You instead need to find out where the source of that file originated from, so that you can either retrieve or block that file from appearing. And this applies, to both ethical hacking and unethical hacking as well. So this is a very common thing in any programming. It's not just, it's not just Minecraft. It's not just computers. It's all devices: Android, iOS, even the Wii. The GameCube, the Xbox original, with its infinite memory, which, by the way, was a lovely accidental discovery, and they really should implement that more often, because that was actually a wonderful discovery for them to have achieved that. And they really did not fully harness the power of that discovery when they were basically establishing the Microsoft Xbox console. They could have utilized that discovery far more powerfully. They had memory leaks in their Elder Scrolls 3 Bethesda game, for example. The objects never got deleted. So unless you perform some specific series of events to glitch items out of existence to actually delete items, the items would just eventually build up infinitely until your game crashed, because of an out-of-memory exception causing a memory stack overflow, which caused the game to malfunction, which caused the game to crash to desktop, and you would lose all progress since the last time you saved. Which is, of course, a terrible thing to happen to your save game. But it also meant that you're capable of basically just endlessly playing until you reach that point because of that glitch where they accidentally had infinite memory. I think my 10 gigabyte Xbox original had something around 200 gigabytes of data saved to it. So the quality of the data was still very good, despite the fact that I couldn't actually access the drive anymore, because trying to read that much data that was not supposed to be stored in the device, that did cause a crash or two or 5. So it has its uses, and I'm surprised they've not utilized it further, because that was a very wonderful thing. I'm pretty sure the majority of what was going on is I was probably saving into the Stack Overflow buffer that prevents Stack Overflow errors. And as long as I didn't actually try and look at the contents of the hard drive and only used it as a save device, I was capable of saving music to it. I was capable of saving game data to it, and that was the majority of what I needed it for. Some music and some gameplay, and I was set. I was good. I didn't really need anything else. So that was useful to me, and I don't understand why they did not celebrate that discovery as opposed to what they did, which was panic. They're like, oh my god, we have what? We did what? Oh my god, we need to fix this. It's like, no, you need to embrace this because this is a wonderful thing. This is something that is going to provide repeat customers. This is not something to be worried about. This is something to rejoice about. This is something to celebrate. And they didn't, of course, because they're Bethesda and Microsoft, and when have they ever been known to do something that will, actually benefit the population of the planet as opposed to just benefiting themselves? Well, we can see their track record. We all know where this is going. We all know what they've done. We all know how little they have managed to actually display any form of caring about how bad things got. This is awkward. I have filled up my dirt barrel, and I now need another barrel. I'm going to put it right there. And I need to build that barrel. Means I need slabs. Do I have enough for... Okay. Perfect. Got myself 3 barrels. I shall install them there, and there, and there. Okay. So I got my 3 locations picked out, got them installed, and just go ahead and pre-allocate some of this. Can I? Seriously? Okay, so that's kind of annoying. I can't do that with barrels on the classic view. Let me try modifying my view settings here. I will switch from the pocket view. I will switch from pocket view to classic view and see if that will help me at all. Also, I'm going to lower my render distance to like 12 chunks. Just to save on performance. Okay, that is what I was expecting. So as you can see, it automatically balances out where everything is going. And then for cobblestone, I want to have that, and then that. For this, if I want to, I can just have it this way, but I like having the crafting book on the side there. I might just leave it in this style, simply because it is, of course, more efficient for me to work in this style. I did like the expanded view of the other method. However, I might just need to leave it in this style. I'm pretty sure. Yep, I was right. Okay, so I'm up to 3 stacks of chicken, 3.5 stacks of feathers. I have lots of food. I don't really need to worry about food. I do, however, need to put this torch back. In order to place on the barrel, I of course had to sneak. My end portal, of course, looking lovely and purple. Note to self, do not put bed down in nether. It explodes. That's true, you can look it up. I'd say you can check, but if you do, make sure you're wearing armor. Probably better than diamond. Well, diamond might work, but probably better than iron. Like iron armor, not the best kind of armor. Gold armor might be good enough. However, I wouldn't rely on it. I do need a helmet. Oops. Okay. The iron ingots back. Open up my inventory. Put my helmet on. Okay. Looks like I'm doing very well so far. Speaking of which, that guy's got a gold helmet, which means he's perfectly fine wandering out in the daylight without any water. However, if I destroy his helmet, he will immediately catch fire unless, of course, he's in water. If I were to destroy him, there's a chance I could get his helmet. So I opted for destroying him because I wanted his helmet. I did not get his helmet. I really do want to raise my base up to the snow level. Because I think it would look very nice. Oh, I'm going to need to move that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to need to move where I'm storing my lava, because my lava is currently in a position where it is very likely that I will accidentally find myself digging into it currently. And if I do that, then I'm just going to be in for a lot of pain. So I'm going to unify my little staircase here across the board, meaning I'm going to dig out this entire row of stone and dirt and everything so that I can just have a staircase that leads up here to where I have my home entrance, I guess, my base entrance. Stone shovel, thank you. And I'm probably going to need to... So that's the part I don't like about this method, is it does cover the hotbar slots with the words as I select the various things. And so I don't like that. I find that very annoying. I'm going to cut down this little view blocking mound here, because honestly I keep needing to go around this thing and I find it quite annoying. So I'm just going to chop through it and chop it down. And yeah, this is my plan for the moment. Plans, of course, always subject to change, but at the very least, this will allow me to navigate to the forest easier when I inevitably run out of trees to craft into planks, which I then craft into sticks to use as the twigs for my handles on my tools. Because I see that happening. Like, I can totally see that happening. I can totally understand that I am probably going to run out of durability on all of my tools, and I'll probably need to make more tools, and I'll go to make more tools, and I won't have any logs for it, and then I'll just have to go and chop up more trees with my axe, using up the durability of my axe to gather the twigs for more logs to build more tools. It's a lovely little conundrum, isn't it? But yeah, I can see that happening. I can totally understand that I am going to need to have better access to the forest where I go to harvest all of my logs. You know, gotta have a regular supplier. If you don't have a regular supplier of everything you need, then you should probably find out why. Because if you're playing Minecraft and you're not getting a regular supplier for your various crafting needs, then most people's solution is to make their own. Not everyone is capable of learning how to do that, but it is a very useful skill to have. Knowing how to make your own supplies, of course, is wonderful to have it is a wonderful skill to have in real life as well. I almost need more shovels. So yeah, having the ability to make your own supplies is a wonderful skill to have in real life as well as in Minecraft. And that's why I say that Minecraft teaches many things. Minecraft does teach some things in what can be described as not the best method. Some people claim Minecraft teaches animal cruelty, and it's like, no, it teaches sustainability. Because if you have a sheep farm, for example, and you're saying, okay, I have all the wool I could ever need. Great, that's amazing. That is what a sheep farm is great for. However, if you then decide to build, for example, an even bigger farm, and you're going through and you're digging everything out, and you realize, hey, I don't have enough food for this. Maybe I need to harvest some of my animals in order to feed myself. Because, sheep can drop mutton, and mutton is a food. I can eat the sheep. I don't need more wool. Well, here's the thing. What if you do that, and then you realize later, wait, I need to cover this entire build's rooftop with carpets or string. And string would mean going out and finding a spider spawner and harvesting all of the string from that. Or less likely, you could utilize the iron golem farms to basically harvest the string from the cats, because the cats will drop string. However, of course, as we're well aware, the online community does not usually approve of such methods. They have a tendency to like cats and dogs, and so using a killing machine to harvest string from cats, probably not the wisest move a YouTuber could make, for example. Because as we've seen from online, historically, that just doesn't go over well. So if you're looking for ethical practice of harvesting string, then you want a spider spawner, because spiders are, of course, usually trying to kill you half the time. More than half if you're underground. But if you're above ground, half the time they're trying to kill you. So spider spawner would be ethical. But that requires you to go and find a spider spawner, and then you have to clear out the spider spawner, you have to prepare the area around the spider spawner. There's all this work that goes into building a spawn chamber, a kill chamber for the spawn chamber. You have to factor in, will it escape? Will it climb the walls? How do I stop it from climbing the walls? How do I stop it from escaping? And you have to go into all of these other factors. Or you could just keep the sheep farm, and now you still don't have food. You still have to solve that solution. But because you now have those sheep, you have all of the wool that you need in order to build the carpet that you need. Because that was the goal originally, was, hey, I need carpet to cover the ceiling so that monsters don't spawn on the ceiling. Because monsters don't spawn on carpets. So you have to factor in long-term goals and compare them against your short-term goals so that you can know what your active goals should or should not be. And if those goals don't line up with each other, then you have a problem, obviously. So there's that to consider. So currently, like, I have a farm, yes. I have a barrel of carrots, yes. I can survive off of that. However, I plan on starting a villager farm. And a villager farm requires that I go out of my way to supply, a villager breeder with a lot of either carrots or potatoes. And if I don't have those on hand, I will have to grow them at the time. And if I don't, then I'm gonna find myself wanting to basically go and collect a bunch of carrots because I need more carrots because I used them all before I had finished my villager breeder, apparently, and that happens. That's a regular occurrence on all Minecraft editions, not just Bedrock edition. All Minecraft editions have that problem. Okay? So, it's not just one edition that will experience that issue. I need to actually dig out a little bit more stone. Because I don't feel like breaking up a stack. I'm going to want about 5 shovels. In fact, let me just use up the rest of this pickaxe so that I can make another pickaxe too. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so I say that a lot. So as we can see, our choices, of course, have consequences. That is standard amongst quite a lot of different video games. And quite honestly, half the time it really doesn't matter. Because half the time what we're actually going up against is usually something involving trying to fix something that had broken, and in doing so we usually end up needing to go out of our way to use alternative methods which allow us to basically better adapt to our current environment. And I know it doesn't seem like that's probably a connected thought to what I was discussing previously, which was programming, but it is actually a connected thought. It's a very connected thought. If a programmer is incapable of building something, they have to figure out how to create this something that they want to build, whatever that something may be. It could be a video game, it could be maybe a character model, for example, for the longest time, in the computer-generated graphics industry, nobody could draw curly hair. Like, it just wasn't a thing. You couldn't do curly hair. You could do straight hair, okay? You could do maybe wavy hair. That was an improvement. But nobody knew how to do curls. So like my hair, I have curly hair. I could not, as recently as the Nintendo 64, so like the Perfect Dark game, The original, not the Perfect Dark Zero for Xbox 360. Which, by the way, decent game. I've played it. I've beaten it. I haven't beaten it on the Perfect Agent for all of the levels. I've beaten Perfect Agent for 4 levels. Perfect Agent is incredibly difficult on Perfect Dark Zero because Perfect Agent requires you to basically be capable of speedrun tactics. But you have to be consistently capable of speedrun tactics because there's no checkpoints and all of the enemies will kill you in like 5 shots or less. And there's no armor pickups or anything, so unless you started with armor, because the game was like, here, wear this armor, then you're probably gonna just get shot and just die. Just outright, dead. Which sounds okay, it's Perfect Dark. It's a sneaking game, right? Should be decently easy to avoid such a situation. Except on the levels where it starts you off, for example, spawning in, I think it was the jungles of Peru, and your first objective is defend the dropship from the incoming attacking bandits. And you have to then stay there with the dropship for roughly, I think it's like 20 to 40 enemies that you have to fight off. Which sounds easy until you realize this is a sneaking game. Basically, imagine playing Tom Clancy. They gave you a machine gun, but turned your accuracy all the way down. You actually have very good accuracy with the machine gun they gave you. However, you're going to want more bullets. Hence why I mentioned Tom Clancy, because I've played Tom Clancy games, and outside of Ghost Recon, like the Splinter Cell series, Splinter Cell has almost no ammo. I have no idea how people play that game, because I'm the type that I play Dungeons and Dragons, okay? If you're not familiar with what that means, it means that I'm the type where if everything fails, my solution is usually, I believe back when it was used by the Nazis, it was called the final solution. You kill everything. It's a final solution. It's very final, in fact. It's such a final thing. So yeah, basically I have no idea how to play that game because I get spotted and then I just resort to how do I kill this guy without him telling all of his friends that I'm here, because this is a stealth mission and I don't want to get caught on the stealth mission because then I have bigger issues, such as there's a bunch of bad guys trying to kill me, which is of course not a good thing. You don't want to have a bunch of people trying to kill you, because that means either you're doing something wrong or they're doing something wrong. And chances are, if long term you are justified, then they might not be justified. However, if long term you're not justified, like you might think you're justified, but if you're not actually justified, then you might have a problem and you might need to fix that problem. I, of course, try to always justify my actions. I try to not leave such loose ends open, because having a loose end is a bad thing, as I'm sure many of not to sound rude, but as I'm sure many of the LGBTQ community can agree, having a loose end is a bad thing. If anyone would know, I'm sure it would be them. And that sounds like I'm being discriminatory, but I'm not, because they really would be the best ones to know that information. They really would. Of course, they're not the only ones, of course. They would just be probably the best at knowing that information. And that's more of an educated guess than a fact. An educated guess, of course, being, well, a guess. I estimate that they probably would know whether or not that's a good thing. And the fact that some of you probably are sitting there thinking, I should speak out against this, just goes to show how right I am about it, because you're sitting there thinking that perhaps it wasn't the nicest thing for me to say, because you might have friends who are members of the LGBTQ community. And if you're not familiar with what the LGBTQ community is, then of course, you're probably not one yourself. And if you are, well, then I guess, okay. It doesn't really matter. It's not as important as people make it out to be. Yes, it is important to know what you like in that regard, and I agree with that. However, it's not important enough to sit there and verbally say, hey, I want to be capable of celebrating the fact that I am gay in public. Well, here's a question. When's the last time you heard of anybody celebrating the fact that they're straight in public? Because I haven't heard it, and I'm pretty sure the last time I heard someone celebrate the fact that they were straight in public, without seeing something about like the Beverly Hillbillies or something, usually was sometime around when I was born, like 30 years ago, back in the 80s. So if you're still dealing with that problem, maybe the problem isn't me, but the people who are actively just being assholes. Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like someone in whoever's life is offended by me talking about LGBTQ and how little it's actually relevant. The lack of relevance should point out that there is, in fact, very little wrong with having this discussion, because, quite honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. Plenty of people will sit there and argue the point, and they'll be like, no, there's plenty wrong with it. It's like, look, some people like guys, some people like girls. That's all there is to it. And some people like both, some people don't. Some people prefer neither. Some people, they just don't care about gender at all. Some people have no gender. Some people used to have a gender, and now they don't. And that's usually called castration. Sometimes castration is a chemical castration. That's used in the correctional facilities. There's plenty of legal talk that could go into this. However, I've been blathering on for an hour clearing out this hill. I've made good progress. I shall make more progress next episode. However, for now, I shall call the episode here. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to support me, I have a Patreon. Check out the About panel on my profile on YouTube, and you will find my Blue Nexus Gaming Patreon page. And I still am working out all of the fine details. I still don't have any Patreon subscribers at the moment of recording this. However, if someone does wish to provide a monthly subscription on Patreon, I will start quite obviously putting in lots more effort, because all of a sudden that means I'm making money. And having any income is definitely going to be a motivating factor for me in the dedication to this series. Because if I'm not making money, then I'm just doing this in my spare time, and whatever I can spare is kind of all you guys get. Like, for example, I'm recording this on the day that the previous episode went out. Specifically, I started the recording after the previous episode went ahead and aired, because I had an alarm set for the noon time slot. And so the recording, of course, stopped. The recording software, of course, has been experiencing difficulties, so I wanted to make sure that A, you would get very few interruptions, and B, I wanted to make sure you got a good video. I wanted to make sure the recording software didn't crash, and so I waited, and I made sure that I would have ample time to record uninterrupted. Yeah. And I'm going to go get something to drink while I wait for the video to edit, and then I'm going to upload this video to YouTube on both playlists, because I'm currently doing a dual playlist, one where I parse the video down to 30-minute segments, roughly, by just accelerating the video. And then, of course, there's the raw footage feed, which is the actual Let's Play. So, as I mentioned, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified about new uploads, assuming you have your YouTube notifications enabled. And do be sure to tune in. I said doobie. And do, of course, tune in next time, where we will be further clearing out this mountain. And I'm going to harvest all of that coal from the wall before I start recording. Actually, I might record that too. I might find interesting stuff in there. I don't know. That's why I record while I play. That's the whole... That's the entertainment value of a Let's Play series. So, like, comment, subscribe, all that. I already said that, so I'll stop recording.